Hello, this is Mike Wall from LM3. Today I'm going to go over first time training, which can also be used for continuous training. So in order to get to the training menu, hit the little train button in the top right and you have three options: train anew, train more, or cancel. In this case we're going to do the train new. There's a video about the train more. So when I go into train new, I have the option to add a new detector altogether or select from existing detectors. So in this case, I'm going to train this rivet detector and choose camera 1 to start. What this will do is open up a live view of the part, and when I first do a snap, it's going to take a picture and it's going to open the labeling program. In the labeling program, you'll want to label your objects as they were trained if we're training more on a detector. So rivet, and this is a notch. You'll notice if I go to QC Hero and this particular detector, look at the training data, there's many notches, many rivets. There's a couple attempts at a barrel, but I wouldn't use this because it looks like it was added after the fact. So we got our notch and our rivet. We save, close the labeling. It'll go back to the live view, and at this point I can snap a number of pictures for the first camera, and then I'll repeat this with the second camera. Now, if you were to be moving the part around, you'd want to change the template out, because what's happening as I snap these pictures, it's copying the labels from the labeling program over to all the images that I snap. So you just hit template, and when you snap again, it'll open the labeling program so you can change the label or change the position of the objects. So I'm going to get to 15, and then I'm going to switch over to the other camera. It's 25 was required to do training, so there's 15. So I go into settings and leave everything as is except for change to camera 2. And then this will open the live view of camera 2. As soon as I snap, it'll open the labeling program so that I can label this. So again, in the labeling program, I want to label the objects consistent with how they were labeled in the first place. So we got a rivet and a notch. Save, close, and then now I can go ahead and snap the rest of my pictures and start training. Okay, well, I'm going to get 30, so there's 15 of each. So you can do as many pictures as you want, but you can get at least 25. And as mentioned, I want to change the template if the position of the objects and the field of view have changed. So now I go to train. It'll open the labeling program one more time to verify the labels, and then training will happen automatically. Now I'm back at train, and I'm kind of in a different mode. It's more of an editing mode where you can move things around, but you can always create new boxes if there's a mistake. So you want to just verify all these images, make sure everything's labeled correctly, all the way down to the last image, because all of these are going to be used for training. And then I can close, and it'll pop up a tool for adjusting settings. In particular, how fast you want to go. I'm going to leave this at max accuracy, and I'm going to add my name or my email address to be notified when this completes. You'll also notice that this popped up the configuration tool for adding new part numbers. So you can use this wizard if you're adding a new part number. We're training on an existing, so it doesn't really apply, but I'll do one anyway. So I'll call this new PN. Call this new PN. These should be named the same for this version of the program. I'm going to run one step. Enable camera 1. Say yes to detect. I'm going to select the rivet only for detector. That's the only one I have an option because that's what I just trained. And then I'm going to add a new calibration. So I'll call this new PN cal. And I'm going to remove all these rogue objects. So let's remove these objects. So we're left with just a notch in the rivet, and I'm going to go ahead and mask the rivet. Save. And so the next camera comes up, I'll enable it. Say yes to detect. And I'm going to create a new calibration again for this side. I'll call this new PN cal 2. It's the other side of the part. So let's go ahead and remove these. Set notch to mask. And then let's actually draw a mask on the parts. So if I want to mask off certain areas of the part, I just need to find an image. And I'll say yes, generate the objects from the detector, but you can also just draw them in. So this is also going to start the labeling program so that you can draw a mask. Alright, so if we want to mask, say, this whole left area, we just draw a box, and then you want to call it end mask. So there's an end mask item on this list. Let's say that we want to mask this area too. We'll just highlight that area. So this river can move around in this curvature, so we should be fine with those masks. Save and close, and this will get stored to the configuration so that those physical areas get masked. I'll go ahead and save. Next, I've assigned all cameras for the number of steps I configured, and then it'll give me an option: display always, to operator override, disable the macros. So that's done. I have trained a new detector, and I have set up a new part number. Well, I didn't train a new detector. I trained an existing detector using the new method, which is perfectly fine. So let's go ahead and run the part number that we just set up. So I go to Options, log in my account, just my initials, and then switch from new rivet 2 to new PN. And then when we go ahead and grab to trigger an inspection, we'll see that it inspects just like the old part number because we just pretty much copied it. So that's all for this session of the training.